Gentlemen, are we ready? We are ready.
That's nice.
We
do it now.
Remember that? Remember, was it Bruce Buffer? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching all over the world. Yeah.
Let's get ready to rumble.
La 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 la.
I, Sea Voyager. Welcome to Eternum, an ancient land of fantastical legends. The Loreseekers, three of the finest storytellers of the New World, await your arrival. They'll spin ye a tale of mystery and adventure, so grab an ale and rest ye self from your journey across the cursed seas.
Beats. Bears. Battlestar Galactica.
Oh man, I had a quote from that movie, and I realized
That's a show. It's not a movie.
No. Okay. Sorry.
Where are we going?
I've got nothing. No, because if I say it, we're gonna have to edit it out. So there's that. It's where my head's at tonight.
Right off the top. Yeah.
It was nasty.
Oh. So. Oh, wait. Hey, we should probably do the real thing. Hey, everyone. Welcome. This is the Loreseekers podcast for New World. We are your hosts. I am Jibs, joined by Cash.
Hey, yo, friends.
And Champ.
What it do, baby?
What it do? And for everyone tuning in, thank you so much for hanging out. We appreciate you. Before we get started, though, if you want to get something for free on us, visit audibletrial.com/Loreseekers. You sign up for the free 30-day free trial, and you, friends, get 2 free audiobooks if you're a Amazon Prime member. 1 if you're not. On us, keep your service going, cancel. Either way, it's legit, 100% free. I've done it many a time for previous shows I used to listen to many years ago. So anyway, if that's your ditty, if that's your thing, check it out. audibletrial.com/Loreseekers. Gentlemen, it's good to be back in the hot seat. Reunited, and it feels so good.
It does feel good, but it feels a little bit less good because we're missing somebody tonight.
We are. Solace couldn't be here.
No,
Sad
friends.
panda.
Yeah, Solace is super busy at work for the next couple of weeks. He's super busy at work.
Swamped.
Basically, super swamped. He's something that's a really big deal for him and his company. So we're without him. I'm sure he's out there somewhere, but
He told me he went to war as Mexico to get some tequila. Are you sure he's at work?
I wonder if he went to Cuba for some cigars.
there's no way he's getting back with those cigars unless he
I don't know.
Unless he keisters them.
I mean, where we come from, people are pretty
JB
good at
about
that. Man, if anyone's first episode is tuning in and that's what they hear, and they have no context to that, I'm not even going to give it to them.
Well,
We're just going to leave it alone.
Wait a minute. No, let's back up. Even a first timer that's coming here listening to the show wants to know how to keister something and get it across the border.
You don't. You dig a tunnel. That's what you do. You start digging. You get your gathering skill up. You got to mine a little.
Those are expensive cigars, I gotta tell you. Their package is a little wrinkled, but
Is it star
You
metal
put that in your
level?
mouth.
Is it star metal level mining? Because if so, you better get to work.
Yeah, it absolutely
high
is, at
level,
least.
Star Metal. I know that like a lot of people are past Star Metal at this point, but is it still not super exciting every time you see Star Metal?
Yes.
It's exciting. You just start running towards it like, oh my God,
It's arriving.
I
It's
hope
happening.
nobody else gets to it before I do.
Ah!
It's mine. And here's the other thing.
true.
You always go for the biggest one, don't you? I know you. You
Yeah.
always go for the biggest
You don't?
one first.
No, because the big ones have less than the little ones.
No.
Yes.
I'm such a new world noob.
Wait.
I'm a noob
Say that
world.
again. Say that one more time.
Some of the smaller ones drop more than the big ones do.
I
I'm
didn't
not
know
going to
that
tell
was
you
a
which
thing.
ones because I want you to go figure it out because I can
Okay.
see you standing now going ding ding.
I am.
That was a big one. Ding ding. He's lying. I just know how you are.
Absolutely. There is a cluster of star metal of 6 nodes immediately north, south, west of Weaver's Fen, the main city. I'm totally gonna go test it now.
Yeah, and he's going to be right behind you. And when you go for the small ones, he's going to go for the big one. I'm telling you, it's a ploy.
Am I getting trolled right now?
Yes.
Oh,
There's only one way to find out.
There's the eyebrow. All righty. You got your game.
well, fellers, it has been another week. We are another week down New World's lifespan. And, you know, I gotta say, servers changed a little. It's a little different this week.
It is. It's a little different, and maybe it's just me, but am I the only one noticing that there's some niceness going on? I
Yeah?
think people are settling in. I think maybe some of the trolls have either left or just maybe at least settled down.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that there's a few more people throwing heels out. There's a few more people stepping back, not stealing your stuff. Like stealing the skinning on your kill.
Yeah.
I'm noticing some New World fam coming into play.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first thing I was running around with K-Mama today while she was questing or whatever. And there's no bigger flex than when you're 20 levels above everything and you one-shot in front of your wife. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you killed him one shot." I'm like, "Yeah, baby. Yeah. Yeah, them skills are leveled up."
Baby, your neck beard's much bigger than mine.
And,
Good job.
Anyway, it's just like I love helping people in this game. If I hear someone fighting, I immediately pan over to the direction it's coming from. Like, do you need help? I'm here.
Do you need help?
Do you need help? Charged in unannounced with the axe. But anyway,
I love it. And I do have to say too, when I log in and I see you guys playing with your spouses, and I see the fact that your spouses who were not gamers until this game, and I see them enjoying their time and shaking it up with people in Discord, and that's pretty joyful to see that. It's pretty cool.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's an experience because I've known you guys for years. And she's heard me talk about you guys for years. And not just you guys, Spin, Viking, Pip, all of the face, Sunny, all the people that we've known for years. And she never met you guys like this. And now she talks to you on a daily basis. And now she understands why video gaming is so important for just my stability. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but this is where my friends are. And this is where peace comes from. And we have a great community. And there are going to be bumps. There are going to be bruises, right? We're going to have issues time to time. But the beautiful thing about it is anyone that comes to our community knows who we are and what we're about. And that's the beautiful thing about it. They know that we are about supporting everyone. We're about helping everyone. And that means even the spouses who've never played a game before.
Yeah.
And if anybody says anything in chat, generally somebody tries to help or we go running. How many times have I killed that big ass bear that kills everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been up there probably 25 times in the last week because people are like, "Hey, I need help with the bear." We go to the bear.
That's what they were talking about in company chat with the big old bear. I didn't know what they were talking about. Okay, that makes sense now. All right.
Yeah, we're in New World.
Oh my
He's
god.
the auger of New World.
Game.
I want
Yeah,
to throw
he's the
punch you
hog
all
of
the way
New
from
World.
Indiana. I'm going to send it thousands
And
of
dry
miles
ice.
over there.
Dry ice, a punch in the throat, send it to him. He opens it up.
This was my fist.
So you know what's funny, you guys, is like when I go to work, like for the longest time at work, I've always just kind of hid the fact that I was a gamer. And then eventually it just came out and I rolled with it. But I had a conversation with a member of my crew the other day, and super good dude, but it blew him away when I told him that my bestest friends are states and states away, and we come together, we rally around like this community of gamers. We spend an inordinate amount of time playing a video game for socialization. Like that's that. He couldn't like get that it's more than just a game. It's the community. It's the people that you're around. Keeping up with everybody. Keeping up with what's going on in their lives and supporting each other. And when somebody has a down day, then those people are there to lift you up. It doesn't matter if obviously it's a little less personal because you're not right in front of the person. You can't like reach out and can shake their hand or give them a big old bear hug.
Right.
But at the same time, you're still making this human connection. And the medium for that is this game. And it was like, I was like having to explain that to him, to where like the community, you take the game away and the community's still here.
Yeah.
That is the biggest part of what we do and why we do what we do, is because of the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, to me, it's so like, I don't know any other way at this point. Like when I first met both of you, I was the only one I knew playing SWTOR in 2012. Like, I don't know any other way to live now, legit. Like, for a real friend, like, just the real life friends to me are ones that live states and states away. Like, I know no other way now. To me, it's just like, that's what it is. Like, yeah, you have, I have, friends in the general vicinity, but, like, not like this. Community is... It's everything, like, and you talk about, when people have an off day, like that happens all the time,
Right.
Especially lately with just real world stuff going on, and so people just being able to come and find a home and just chill and play, like, that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm all about. And what you see is what you get, like,
Oh yeah.
it's just, I could gush about that for like 30 minutes, but it really rings true. Community doesn't have boundaries. It goes states, continents, all over the world.
Yeah, and what's nice about it too is how much time you spend with each other doing something like we do, right? How else are you going to vanquish an enemy at the end of a dungeon, right?
Yeah.
How else are you going to be a superhero basically and run down with 3 people or 4 people that are good friends with you and help them?
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But my thing is this game gives us the ability to help people, to feel better, because I mean, we can tell when somebody's having a bad day because you talk to them a lot. So I notice it, and I'll say, hey, are you okay? And I think sometimes people are weirded out, but it's like, I spend so much time with you, I can tell when you're off. I mean, how many times have you guys said, hey, are you okay? How many times have I said it to you guys?
How many times?
It's just, right.
Yeah.
It's just that thing. We know each other well enough. So I get what you're saying, but I think in our society, in today's age with social media and everything like that, this is the norm. This is the norm. I know a lot of people that don't hang out with people very much personally, but they have gaming community friends that they hang out with all the time.
Right.
It's a cool thing, and we've got a great group. We really do.
Oh yeah, for sure. And by the way, shameless plug. Hey, look, if you're looking for a company, and you want to come enjoy the Talapian server, Talapian Talapple. What of all servers, we chose Talapian.
It was the low pop server at the time.
Anyway,
we had to make a choice.
If you're looking for a home, you want to come game or not, hey, if you just want to come join the community and just chill and hang out and literally meet fans of New World all across the globe, visit loreseekerscast.com. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, whatever. Check it out. It's under the company tab, and just click apply.
Yeah, comment from Katie in chat. She says, but also you attract the community that goes with the vibes you give. You guys have helped make both this and ESO communities better places. That's super
awesome.
sweet. And speaking of the ESO community, our buddy Zynode is in chat. What's up, buddy?
Hey, my man.
Thanks for coming. Zynode is an amazing, fantastic, one of the absolute best content creators for ESO.
So good.
Stop by to say hello. So what's up, dude?
Much love, brother. Much love. Well, everyone who's tuning in, if you missed last week on the show, we talked server transfers, which we're talking about again today. Starstone Barrows. We did a lore lesson on the Ancients. All right, well, that's part 1. I think we're doing a 5-parter on that, aren't we? Is it 5 parts?
Oh man, it probably could be 5 parts. We're going to be up to at least part 3 on the Ancients, guys. There's a lot to talk about because it's kind of the cornerstone of the game.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking a lot of Ancients here in the next few weeks, and we might even like space it out if I find something else that's super freaking cool. Because at some point, friends, we're lore lessoning on the Soul Wardens. We
yes,
can't pass that one up. Way too freaking cool.
Those people are legit. So anyway, this week on the show, we're doing a discussion on New World's economy. That's a big, hot topic. You push that button and everyone just fire goes everywhere.
Yeah. What? There's gold. You can make gold in this game?
Reminds me of the GIF where it's like, everything is fine. The guy's sitting there at the table and there's fire all around him. But server transfers, update 1.0.3, gold duping, Halloween items, and a lore breakdown on the Ancients Part 1. So you can look forward to that. Gentlemen, there was some Halloweener items Halloween items that were put out on the store this week. We're just going to keep moving on. It's best if you don't stop and they don't recognize. There's an October store update. They totally know. October 20th. For those who, if you didn't know, maybe you were not playing, I don't know. But anyway, so everyone gets a free pumpkin, house decoration.
Oh, pumpkin.
There's two of them. There's two of them.
What?
Two. I got two.
You got two? Oh, that's
I
right.
didn't-
Okay.
I think there's
Ooh, you scared me. I was like, I didn't dupe it.
I think there's a total of 5, right? Because you can get the 2.
Yeah.
You get the 2, and then there's the housing pack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the items that
Yes.
they offer, and I gotta tell you, let me find that. Oh yeah, so the haunted housing decor bundle, you get the stolen gravestone, potion maker's kit, enchanted broom, vermiculated curtains, bumbling cauldron, the conjuring crystal, scapegrace Jack's fatuous lantern, frightful lantern, lascivious lantern, and then the haunted candelabra. What? What?
You said bumbling. You said bumbling.
What's it supposed to be?
Bubbling, dude.
Bubbling,
Oh
bro.
man, come on, man.
Kill me.
Oh, Champ. See,
Come
Champ
on,
is
man.
Champ is experiencing the joy of Jib's pronunciations.
It's not even Dwemer, and no, Jibs isn't drunk, Jeffy. I'm not at all. I just suck at speaking.
He's rarely drunk. It's just his voice box that's drunk AF half the time.
24/7.
man.
Like I couldn't.
You're gonna kill me.
I couldn't pronounce crap in ESL when it came to Dwemer. Dwemer
It's
crap.
bubbling, dude.
Bubbling.
It's bubbling.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Continue. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So,
I needed this laugh.
so for masks, we got the headwear skins. These are coming out on the 26th. You've got the elemental mask. You've got the demon mask. You've got the elusive 1 mask. And I think one that I know at least 2 out of 3, because you never know on the 100%, Plague Doctor mask. I'm assuming we're all going to grab. All those masks are 7,000 marks of fortune. Those are pretty cool. Officially getting some releases on that.
Yes, the Plague Doctor one though. That's like the Plague Doctor half mask. I'm telling you, like my number 1 goal in this game is to get to end game and get the entire Plague Doctor set. Has to happen for cash for sure. I think that is the coolest, most innovative, time period perfect introduction into this game. It's super iconic. I'm gushing. I love that. I want it bad.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed to all of that. All of it. Like it, like some of this really isn't my style. But the one that really rings true for me is the Plague Doctor, mainly because of Syndicate.
Yeah.
It's like the dollar. This sounds really bad because I don't want to diminish how this looks, but until I get that armor set, like the level 60 armor set, for the faction, I feel like this is the Dollar General version of the headpiece I'm gonna get, and I can't wait to wear that Dollar General piece.
Yeah, and I'll be very honest. I was really bummed as I started to ascend in Syndicate rank.
Yeah.
And I started acquiring the higher tier sets of gear, and for light armor, that freaking wig is still the render for all levels. I was just like, oh,
That's a little rough.
I'm rocking the bald.
I
haven't had a helmet on almost this entire time.
Why the wig? Why the wig? I want to know why the wig.
It's time period appropriate.
It totally is.
Because that was part of the style for nobles and parliament and such at the time. So I mean, it's a British thing. It's quite British.
Jeffy Chet says you got something against people with hair.
Yeah, I have a lot against the fact that you have hair. That's what I have, especially you, because you got a nice, thick head of hair. So there's that.
Here's a big thing. I don't think you understand how great I think the wig and that coat looks.
It was.
I think it looks amazing, dude. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it fits your personality. It's almost like they made that. No, real talk. It's almost like they made that for you, dude, because you do that hoity-toity British thing when you yell Healy Feelies or cheese roll, and it fits that style. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Step in the green, Healy Feelies, or I'll step over your corpse. Yeah, for sure. It actually fits the RP version of my character, like my character's backstory, super well. And I'm totally nerding right now, but
Yeah.
he's British, so it totally fits him. He's a master of disguise.
Dude, when you play with a rapier, you have to make those sound effects.
Yes. And I'm telling you, if you caught the stream the other night, because Jibs was solo streaming the other night, and he was doing it involuntarily because he just started using the rapier, and every time he would do that, he would go, oh. And I don't know if you even caught it, bro, but you kept doing it, and I was dying. It's like, oh, he doesn't even know he's doing it. Oh.
Full immersion.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty funny.
Anybody got any French fries in here?
So, so this master thing, we've also got the Pharaoh's Curse, the battle axe, which looks like a Pharaoh styled axe, Egyptian styled axe, excuse me, which looks awesome. The skull in the middle. We have the life staff, which is the Black Widow staff that has the spiders on it. I wish those animated. Are those? Do they animate?
No, they're not. But
No? Okay.
it was made for me. It was like, okay, we're gonna put this in the game for all the Halloween freaks because some of them are gonna be healers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that was really. I got to be honest. That is the only thing that I've bought so far. Is that I'm really, really waiting because I think what's going to happen is I think there's going to be a steady amount of some pretty kick-ass shit that's going to be dropped into the store.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of waiting. Actually, I take that back. I actually bought a skin too that I've been rocking. But I really, really, really like that life staff. It's bitchin'.
Yeah. As far as, and this kind of goes to, from any game I've seen launch, let me be very clear, like this is where I'm coming from with this, not a knock at anything what this store looks like. Typically, it takes them, and when I say them, I mean companies, a little bit of time to get that store into the really, that really good stuff.
Right.
And it's just because it just naturally takes time, and that's totally fine. But I mean, I remember seeing it with, this is a really, probably a random example to some, but I remember Call of Duty, the most recent one came out, and I'm like, 3 months later, so it's just, it's just one of those kind of transitions.
It was the same thing with ESO.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
ESO would have some stuff that was like mediocre, and then they would show stuff that was like, I cannot play another day of this game without having that. Like, I have to have this. I have to have that.
Right.
So, right. But a little bit for everybody. There's a little bit for everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What there wasn't though, is like a witch costume or like a female-esque more Halloween style, right? I would have loved to seen like something witchy, maybe with a nice big pointed hat, because that'll fit, right? Or maybe like a black cloak with a faceless cover, right, where your face is blacked out, right, and with some stitching and stuff. Yeah, that way, because how many people are using heavy armor with like a life staff and trying to do that right with the PvP stuff,
right?
Yeah.
But like you said, if you don't have a good skin for it, you can't find good looks. Give the people an ability to have like a couple of cloaky, witchy, warlocky, druidy kind of things, right? Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope they keep building that. Yeah, absolutely. I hope they keep, in that regard, I hope they keep building upon the base set of items here. Like, I look at this and I get it's seasonal, but I'm thinking 2022. Like, I hope this comes back. Hope they add more and just keep throughout the years just keep growing and growing and growing this, this whole inventory of items. So
Yeah, and you know what too? Here's the other thing, folks, is that I'm pretty positive that they've already talked about holidays in this game.
yeah.
And that was a pretty open thing that they talked about that they were going to be doing. And they mentioned the fact that there's not going to be a holiday event this year because they have funneled all of their resources towards bug fixes and stuff. So the priorities are right.
Yeah.
So, here we are 3 weeks in talking about the things that could be added to the store where we know what's going to happen. Once these bugs get hammered out, once the server transfers are handled, we're going to talk about the economy here coming up. Once all of these really important gameplay things start to get hammered out and are running smoothly, then the cosmetics and, the lesser game breaking things are going to start coming into the game and into the store.
Here's another thing. What if they had a plan to do the Halloween event to give us more skins, but in the event? So these are the ones that they're selling. And let's say that, like for instance, there's a Frankenstein hammer. There's no Frankenstein armor. What if they had plans to do that with their release, right? So like if you do this achievement or you get this many tokens, like whatever games are, right? When you have your holiday event, and they were going to release skins to go in relation with the weapon. So maybe the Black Widow weapon had maybe like a vampire-esque black dress with some red trim, right? That would have been cool, right? For like that would have went with the staff, because it seems like they were made for a set, right? But there's no set that goes with it. So maybe that was the plan, and that's why we have small parts of it. And we're like, well, why'd you give me a Frankenstein hammer and no Frankenstein armor? Maybe they were going to do that with the event, and they pulled the event to ensure they could get the content where it needed to be.
Right.
I mean, it's plausible, right?
I'm glad they did that. Just a quick side note. Like, I'm glad that they did that. I mean, we all wanted that event. I mean, that was no secret. But at the same token, like, there are clearly way more important things that need to be worked on right now than, putting in an event in the game so early on. So,
I'm not bummed.
No, not at all. So we also got the skeletal rapier. That's a new weapon skin. You got the Frankenstein hammer, like you had already stated, champ. We got the skeletal chevalier. Is that? Am I close? Chevalier? Yeah? No?
Chevalier?
Yeah?
Sounds right.
That felt right. All right. So anyway,
allow it.
Yeah. Thank you. Looks like a little bit of a metal skeleton with skulls on the pauldrons, claws for the fingertips, and then you got that skeletal helm with the crown. That one looks pretty dope. For anyone wearing heavy armor, that's your jam. I mean, champ, you were wearing it last night at the Portals event that we had at the Loreseekers company, so that looked pretty good, man.
Yeah, I was running a bow musket with that on, and it was fabulous.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a cool one.
Now that I think about it, I think Champ, you mentioned like a witchy looking hat. I did see that in game today. Now I know it's not a shop thing, obviously, but it is out there because I saw one of those. It's a witch's hat with a big, giant, pointy. It's like a witch wizard, but it was there. So, and I'm still finding that, especially now that I'm going into some of the higher level zones. You go into these higher level zones, and then you see all the 60s, coming down from the hills, come down from Shadow Mountain, and all that stuff. And they're wearing some really cool looking stuff.
Yeah.
So it's out there. I think there's a lot more. There's an escalation of how the different sets look. As you get higher, the freaking cooler the stuff starts to look.
Oh, that's what I want. I don't want my coolest item. I don't want my coolest item at level 5. You know what I mean? Like, let me have that slow build.
Come on, man! I want to get all the way to level 60 and be at full end game content, and then get my blousey shirt.
With the frufflies.
Yeah,
the little frufflies.
My white fluffy pirate shirt.
Yeah,
that's my end game gear.
And speaking of, we got the bloodthirsty count. That's the vampire outfit that's got the doilies on the calves.
I wear the swashbuckler boots with this.
I like this outfit. That makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
He looks like one of the vampires from.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the name of that show? What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, dude, I love that show.
I know. He looks like one of the vamps from that.
Oh, yes, that is an Andor 100%. Absolutely.
I ran up to a guy with in-game chat on, and I went, "Excuse me, but can I help you? Do you want something?" And he took off running. And he was yelling, and he was yelling. He yelled in voice chat, "Vampire!" and just took off running. It was fabulous, dude. It was so good. It was so good. The chance that he had it on, man, it was so good.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of that on our server. I haven't seen a ton of proximity chat.
Oh, it's coming.
I do it all the time.
It's coming.
And you find them when you do it, you notice that they are doing it because they'll respond to you, and it's quite humorous. Every now and then you get the one thing you don't want to hear, right? But for the most part, it's been fun.
One of my favorite pastimes is going on YouTube and looking up voice chat New World highlights. You don't walk away disappointed.
Oh yeah,
it's a winner.
There's some really witty people out there who say some funny crap.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this one up here, and then on top of that, you got the Shroud of the Pharaoh. This is the last part of the. Honestly, to me, this is the most tempting one. Cash, I know you're not a fan of the head wrap. Looks like he's heavily injured, but
I wear it. I run up to Cash in game, and he goes, "You look like you were badly bandaged by a bad medic." I'm like, "What the hell, man?"
I know, it's a terrible bandaging job.
I just bought this from Amazon, man. This is good stuff.
This was one-day shipping.
Here's a couple Tylenol and a heel.
Couple Tylenol.
And take that thing off.
We roll.
A little Motrin for you.
Well, you're 600 milligrams. You go rest, okay? So anyway, yeah, that's out and about. A lot of people are wearing that. That's a good time. I think it goes without saying while all this is, while all this fun stuff is being added to the game, there's clearly some issues that are happening. And we knew this before we jump into all this because, we got quite a few things to talk about. This is part of the development cycle. Everything we're about to talk about. Like when you start into a brand new game, you have there's a certain level of like, hey, I need to accept the fact that I'm in this now. And I'll speak strictly to us. We're creating content in this now. We're here from day one till, the end of the line. And like, you're married to that development cycle. For one, I'm excited for it. I know there's some things we're going to talk about. Regardless of what happens, I just keep watching it, eating popcorn like, what's going to happen? I want to say what's going to happen. But like, this is part of the development cycle. And part of that starts with the server transfers. So in patch 1.0.3 that came across the board this past week, they put the final piece in play for the server transfers. And it quickly... it's now disabled.
Yeah, it went bad.
Yeah, it didn't really.
There's a hole.
There wasn't batting 100 on that one. That feature wasn't ready, I guess, or there was some issues they ran into. Not the fact it wasn't ready, but some things happen. And Champ, there was gold duping.
Yeah.
And then issues with people getting transferred. Like, what was the full deal on that?
So what happened is when people would go in to transfer off the server, they would activate the transfer and they would get a character persist failure as a bug, and it would just pop up as an error or whatever. And then someone figured out through that process that if you had that bug, you had a chance to be able to trade gold to somebody, log out of the game, log back into the game, the gold was still there. So they were duping massive amounts of gold on top of an already depreciating economy,
right?
At least on our server, right? And then that's everywhere. Everybody's talking about the economy. So not only is the economy just not where they expected it to be, and it doesn't have a balance, and we'll talk about what we think might balance it out here in a few minutes, but this caused it to be even worse because now gold is almost meaningless because you can dupe so much of it. Plus, I think the addition of resources are way too easy to get.
Really?
There's way too much.
Yeah.
There's no scarcity, so there's no market. So I think with the ability I can run my iron node route, get 1,000 ore, drop it off, go back and get another 1,000. It seems like I never have a problem finding resource. So I think it might be coupled with the gold duping on top of the economy's just not where it needs to be because of the size of the servers, because there's no way to make gold and there's no way to sell things. The baseline gold, right? And I think that's important to have in these games at the beginning when you have a small community. because 2,000 people supporting a community, it's kind of tough. Or if they had all of the economy into one big lump, right? Like it was a server-wide, or not server-wide, but game-wide economy, and you just participated in that economy. It would make it a lot more balanced, maybe.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah,
So
I think
Guild Wars 2 did that, right? Oh, okay. Sorry, Cash. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to look, man. You're gonna find exploits, and like this is where it gets muddy, because the exploits are going to need to get fixed eventually. I think step one, and this is me talking as a Boy Scout, but like step one, report it. You know what I mean? Like when there's stuff that is exploitable in the game, it needs to get reported so that it can get fixed. But we all know human nature. Unfortunately, sometimes, especially gamers, if they can get ahead, they're going to get ahead. So they're going to take advantage of something like that. Now, you know, the first person to figure that out starts doing it. Then all of a sudden, you know, somehow word spreads. You know, oh my God, I traded the gold. The gold shouldn't be there. Now it's still there. Let me log out and see if it's still there again. Logs out, logs back in, tries it again, and it doubles. The gold doubles. They're going to keep doing it. So I'm glad they caught it. I just think it sucks that people, instead of reporting it, instead of like immediately stopping what you're doing, they continued to do it over and over again just to try and get ahead. And that in itself is economy breaking, because now you get into a new server and you have a ton of gold. It hurts the economy, an economy that's already struggling. So I guess like I just have a really hard time with people that don't practice morals or have a moral compass, period. But it's just going to happen. I think it's human nature.
Right.
I'm glad they hopped on top of it. I know there's a lot of people that are upset right now about the economy, and I think one of the number one reasons that people are upset with the economy is because, number one, it's really difficult to make gold, unless you're selling. Like there's no way, once that economy kind of levels out, and just like to tag on to what Champ was saying about the fact that there's so much stuff that can be gotten very, very readily out there and very easily out there. And like I look at, like when I was a lower level, I'm looking at Star Metal going, oh my God, that stuff's selling. It was so expensive. It's selling. Well, now it's like it's so easy to get that stuff. And as the game progresses, as people's character levels progress, a lot of that stuff is going to become, I won't say irrelevant, because people are still going to need it for crafting and such, but the prices are really pretty darn low because the markets are saturated with that stuff. So your gold making ability is going to start eventually going down, because that is how they wanted us to make gold in the game, is by trading back and forth with other players. They wanted the entire economy to be player driven. But when making the gold is that difficult to do, there does need to be something else in the game, for another way for you to make gold. And I think a vendor, that's my personal thought, vendors in the game to be able to sell your stuff to, as opposed to breaking it down. I think that should be introduced at some point.
Yeah.
I can tell you, for me, is a vendor's cool, but we can go a further part. And I was talking with our buddy Sonny, and one of the things that he talked about was, like, and follow me on this, the Bank of Eternum, right? So it provides a few essential functions to a hamlet. It introduces a way for adventurers to make a nominal living by unloading their goods. So basically think of it as buy orders, right? So let's say that you have a buy order for a 20 through 29 piece of gear, and that buy order will buy it from you for 20 gold, right? So a nominal amount, right? That way, what happens is some adventurers, they don't want to play a lot of trading posts. I'm not a trading post guy. I'll go up, if I see a buy order for something, I just sell it. But in this situation, you're willing to make the minimal price, and it's simply emptying their bags, which improves their gameplay experience. It removes commodities from the market, or isn't going back for sale and going around and around. It's leaving. This lowers the surplus of raw materials, increasing the price, and finally it provides a base, stable price for commodities. Iron ore will never go below a certain price because the bank is willing to buy it for that amount. This would force prices to stabilize on the low end. Perhaps as your reputation improves within a territory, the bank is willing to provide you with greater compensation for your goods. So what if, as you get standing, you get a choice to pick that you can sell your wares for 5% more, right? And then you can go up to 50%. So you could literally make 50 gold on a piece of gear where you normally get 15 for it. And you could have it in an RP way to where they can add it into the story. It's not a bad concept. It's better than a NPC that you just walk up to. It almost makes it feel like you're playing it. Tie that into the economy and the taxes that the group is. So if the syndicate owns that town, have that be taxed and have that tax given out to whatever syndicate people own towns. So it's part of the economy, right? It helps to help them. It's kind of a neat concept. I tipped my hat to Sonny when he said it. It's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. That was honestly probably one of the more fun conversations I've had recently, just talking about economy in the company chat. I come from a business background. I love like that, and that's the drive. You know, when you start a business, success, obviously, yeah, but to make money. And with Sonny and I were talking. There was more. You were in there, champ. We were all just sitting there talking.
Rob, you were there.
You were there. And
I'm not finishing that. Appreciate the setup, but no.
Sorry.
Trying to catch me slipping. Sorry.
And it was just cool to hear the concept, because here's the deal. Normally, you deal with inflation in MMOs. We're dealing with deflation, which brought back, you know, I kind of come back to the idea of when I remember I was in college, and I'm not, you know, you had people who were majoring in economy and all that, and minor in macroeconomics and all that. I love those people because they have the data. They're very, very good with the data there, and they really understand providing baselines for making money. I feel the same way when it comes to New World. Yes, it should be player driven. That's what makes us unique. That's one of the things that they bet on. You should not change that. You should not touch that. But there has to be a baseline provided. When you have that baseline feature, it's just kind of like that foundation. Like no matter what happens, you know you're going to have this foundation. And then the economy can build off of that foundation. You know, we were talking about EVE Online as well. EVE Online is, I mean, the economy there's, it's crazy. You know, anyone you talk to, they'll tell you the economy's crazy. It's, you know, economy-driven game. You spend all this time, you lose real world money, all this. You know, eventually it'll always come back to money. And it's, I don't have an answer for it, but I believe what Sonny provided, genuinely, I think that is amazing. I think it fits the lore well, a lore standpoint. People who have been on Eternum for a while and want to provide something, you know, provide that base level of commerce. And also it gives us a reference point to use as players to funnel money.
To the Black Desert Online thing. Run boxes from one city to another city and get paid in gold, right?
Yeah.
Get paid in gold to do a service.
Yeah.
And then if you PvP flag, it's a higher thing, or you get more money, or you get more resources. But there are ways to make gold and not have to sell items. I get that. But what I'm saying is it's not working right now, so we have to figure something out. And I realize that commodities are going to go up. But right now, I have thrown star metal on the ground because I don't want to put it up for a penny with the other 55 listings of it for a penny.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't pay me for my time. You know, you go out, you dig that. It takes you 15, 20 seconds with a good set of tools to get a piece of star metal out, right?
Yeah.
And you start adding all that up. I'll go back to the settlement and have 2,000, you know, pounds of, or 2,000 pieces of star metal ore, and I can't sell it. I mean, I can put it up for 1 cent, but I might sell it, I might not. There's another 30 things. So I get that there's going to be a market for it, but right now there's not. And what happens when the servers lose members? On a 2,000 player server, if it's player driven, every person that leaves depreciates that economy. That's one less person buying and selling and trading.
Right. Right.
And so it's such an unstable thing with the amount of players. Maybe if we had 10,000 people on a server, I know we don't want that, but if you did, you'd have more people to put into the economy. You would have more to deal with the ebb and flow of losing people. And that's the big thing, right? I think their concept is good, but it has to be at a bigger scale.
Yeah. 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 Cash?
Yeah, I agree there. I like the fact that that Sonny's idea of that Bank of Eternum, it removes things from circulation, and by doing that, you're adding to the demand for those things to be. It would add to the demand for constant harvesting of things out there.
Yeah.
So so the markets don't become super saturated, and in a way it's having a more complicated vendor is really what it is. But I like the thought of something like that coming in to where it keeps the economy moving. It's kind of like conservation in hunting,
Yeah.
where when an area is oversaturated with animals, there needs to be a healthy culling of those animals in order to keep that population of animals healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what the whole thing, conservation is the same thing with trees. It's so, yeah, I think something does need to be done for sure, because if it continues in the path that we're going, I think the markets are going to kind of stagnate a bit.
Yeah, and honestly, it's almost like a perfect storm for deflation right now. You have overpopulation as far as nodes. The more and more I think about that, Champ, I totally in agreement. So you have that overpopulation of nodes, so flooding the markets are happening. And on top of that, you have, as you get higher in levels, it's more difficult to make gold. There's reports of people going out and doing the town board missions. They're paying more for their repair bills than they are for the gold they're getting from doing them. Like, well, where's the reward there? The risk is clearly outweighing that reward.
When your weapon breaks, it in some instances is cheaper for you to go to the auction house and buy a new weapon than it is for you to repair the weapon.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's happened to me.
Really
So
true.
there is a huge problem with this economy.
Yeah.
It is. And my biggest thing, and the one thing I want to say leaving is, I know a lot of people have spoke on it. We're not the only content creators that speak on it,
Of course.
but solutions need to be presented.
Right.
You might come up with a concept. You never know what might work. You never know who they're listening to. Constructive criticism is very important.
Yes.
I don't appreciate the fact that the economy is the way it is just as much as someone who's sour about it. The only difference is I love this game.
Yes.
I do. And I know I fanboy it. And you know what? If you don't like it, sorry. It's kind of why you're
we
here
do
to
a
hear me talk
show.
about it. Right.
Yeah, we spend a lot of
So-
time doing content for
Right?
this
Like,
game.
what do you want?
We're fanboys. Okay, so
Yeah.
just
So-
absorb it, swallow the
Yep.
pill.
And just understand that we're always going to present this in a lighter sort and giving solutions as we have discussed it with our community. I didn't
Right.
come up with all these concepts. These are conversations that we have. We have these long conversations
Yeah.
in Discord with
Oh,
our
yeah.
members where we talk about these things. And there's some very smart people in our community that have great ideas. There's a fix, and they will fix it. They have got to have somebody that knows how to run an economy at Amazon to help them.
Yeah, and look, I would encourage everyone, please, everything you just said, and I want to add, please give everyone listening, please give feedback. Please go to the forums. Please, use Reddit. They're watching Reddit. They're watching Twitter. Give them feedback, because it's one thing, just like Champ said, it's one thing just to give criticism and walk away. Like, well, you did nothing except complain. Give criticism, but give them feedback that they can, constructive criticism they can use. And this is the part of, you're in the development cycle. I guarantee you there will be a time in the future. Remember when Deflation was in an MMO and everything, this is never, as far as I understand, this has never occurred ever that I've seen in any game. I don't know any MMO, like AAA, if there was some one-off indie MMO, but I mean any AAA MMO that's ever dealt with deflation in this massive form, so early on in the game, which honestly, when they get to the point where they can knock this out of the park, how good is that so early on in the game?
Yeah. Something does need to be done, because I mean, even within the last 3 weeks, I've watched certain items go from being, 1 gold or even 2 gold to now it's like 0.02, 0.01.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm literally giving I'm selling a massive stack of this for 5.2 gold.
Yeah.
It's not even worth the run back to town.
Yeah. Honestly,
No.
Yeah. Everyone's going to handle it differently. Me, I'm reinvesting right back into crafting. So I'm not even making money really anyway. I'm just investing for future investments. But yeah, everyone, please go to the forums, Twitter, Reddit, wherever. Just give them feedback because we need that. We all win when this wins, you know? So
Yeah. Somebody out there has a freaking kick butt idea that if they haven't gotten it figured out yet, then they might take your idea.
there you
So,
go.
yep.
Well-
So anyway, thanks to Sonny for that. Appreciate his idea. I thought it was pretty cool.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, I'm ready for, I was standing up on this one. I'm ready. Are you ready for the lore breakdown?
I am ready.
Can't believe we're here already. All right, so here we go. Yeah, let's do this. All right. Oh wait, I don't know what. Yeah, you go ahead. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, you go ahead and go.
No.
This is good. This is good. Go with it. Let's
I
go
feel
with it.
uncomfortable now. You just need. I feel like that guy who accidentally put the spotlight on the wrong speaker at a convention, and the guy's just standing there looking around like, "What? What?"
Everybody else just took a big step back, and you're the only one sitting there in the
I'm
spotlight.
just I'm just
No, that's
see ya.
okay. Because no, I'm going to put the spotlight on both of you guys here in a second. But
Oh, jeez.
so friends, I'm really enjoying the way that we're doing this. So 1 week we're bringing you a lore lesson, all shiny and new in video format, and letting you absorb that and letting you think about a week on it. And then the next week we're coming back and doing the lore breakdown on that previous week's lore lesson. And it's actually been a lot of freaking fun to do that because we get to have some good conversations about what's going on out there. So this format, I think, has really been good for us, and hopefully everybody's enjoying it too. Anyway, so this week, friends, we are going to be breaking down our lore lesson from last week, which was part 1 of the Ancients. And the way that we're kind of doing things is we're tying this into like our overall roleplay story for Loreseekers, but at the same time, we're teaching you about the lore of the game. So last week, one of the biggest things that we talked about last week on our lore lesson was all of these little skeletons and all this different kind of armor that you're running into when you are anywhere near these ruins, the ruins of the ancient guardian, or the ruins of the ancients, basically, that they constructed years ago, or possibly enslaved people to make for them. But the ancient guardians have armors from several different time periods, all across the history of the world. And I absolutely love that fact that some of them are wearing Roman armor. Some of them are wearing armor of the Templars.
Yeah.
Some are in heavy armor. Some have no armor at all. But if you look at the weapons that they're using, you can kind of tell what time period some of those weapons came from. And also pay very close attention to a lot of the enemies, because some of the enemies in this game have armor or have weapon setups that we have not seen yet.
Yup.
For the players. So I think those are like little Easter eggs that they're throwing out at us that, hey, at one point you will probably be able to dual wield blunderbusses. Like, what?
Boy, that's gonna be fun.
Oh, it's going to be freaking amazing.
Oh yeah.
So these ancient guardians who guard these sites of the ancients, that is one of the big questions. Is number 1, how did they get there? Number 2, what powers them? And number 3, what are they protecting? How were they set in motion to be able to be eternal servants? How can you cut one in half and it dies and respawns with an upper torso and it still comes after you? That is what is amazing. And I think, I'll throw this to you guys, the power that was bestowed upon them sits within their chest in the form of Azoth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool because there's so many unknowns about Azoth, like currently, like the sky's the limit, right? So it's kind of like you're taking that standpoint of like, well, anything's possible. Like we don't know. We haven't been given those lore limits yet of what it can't do. We only know what it can do. Right. And yeah, I like seeing. I'm trying not to jump ahead because there's so many points that.
Just go. You got some pops in your head.
Well, we were having a conversation with someone, and we were talking about, like regarding, you talk about the Azoth infused into their chest, right? We were talking not even 40 hours ago about how, it's important just in real life, whenever you're working on anything, whether it's, if your job, your career, your content creation, to protect your heart, because everything you do flows from your heart. And it just so happens that like that's just like pretty much the area where you see that glowing from these dudettes. It's just, and it's just like, and that's the thing that keeps bringing them back over and over and over. And like I know that the ancients dealt with manipulating Azoth, and we know that there was experiments that were ran, and it just, to me, I find myself wanting again to know the limits of what this can do, just to kind of help me get a little bit better clarity and understanding of it.
So knowing Superman's kryptonite.
Yes.
So knowing what the other side of it, the thing for me is I have always wondered, why are there 4 different types?
Yeah.
And why were they made that way? Was it because of the basis of who they were?
Yeah.
Were the blue ancients, were they pure and they were there for good reasons to get things, maybe to help family?
Yeah.
And the corrupted people were, like they say with cocaine, it's going to exemplify whatever your trait is. And so if you are kind of an asshole, you're going to be a bigger one, right? Yeah. So maybe that's the effect it had.
Yeah, Thorpe.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wow, yep. Nice pull. Yep.
So, I mean, maybe that's how you're chosen on what you're going to be, is by your own doings or your own way of thinking or the core of who you are. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you start to get into the nitty gritty a little bit, and you start to you watch the videos, you start to pick up some of the lore pages, you talk to the researcher William Heron. One of the things that he mentions is that he truly believes in his research that at some point there was a great conflict in between the ancients and an unknown entity. And the soldiers who happened to be on the island at that time became eternally enslaved by the ancients. They were able to take these beings over and enslave them. Now, who was that conflict between? Well, as I read more lore pages, and some of it's going to kind of creep into next week a little bit when we cover the Vega Bridge down in Weaver's Fen, there are ancient statues on the bridge in Weaver's Fen, Vega Bridge. And there is a series of lore pages down there that talks of witnesses to those statues being moved from point A to point B to be placed onto that bridge. And the people that were, the beings that were doing it were ancient guardians. They were the ones that were doing it, but they all started off as humans. And in this particular lore lesson, we talk about some locations where they believe that the transformation of a human being into an ancient guardian takes place. And they're saying that, or at least William Heron believes, that these ruins where this takes place is at the Pools of Eternity in Reekwater. Now, that is not some place that I have reached quite yet in my own experiences. So if you have, I'm sure there's a series of lore pages there that kind of explain it. But in between the Pools of Eternity at Reekwater, the Lazarus Instrumentality, the monument at Morningdale, which I just screenshotted today because I just got there today, going through my quest line, and I was like, That's it. This is part of why I freaking nerd out so hard, is because I research all this stuff, and then when I get to those points in the game, I nerd boner. Like, I can't help it.
He squeals. He squeals.
I squeeze for sure, for sure.
Squeals.
And then the Shattered Obelisk. Now these 4 sites have incredible meaning and power, and there is a story behind them as to how the Ancient Guardians become the Ancient Guardians, what the Ancients actually did to get them to this point, and the big question, I'll throw this back at you guys. The big question is their experimentation with Azoth. Did that have something to do with their demise?
I think so. And the reason why I think that is because you remember the video where you see the 2 Roman soldiers grabbing the red stone out of the perfectly preserved statue?
Yes.
And it was a statue standing up. They took the red stone out, and then you see them take it, and then you see the termination of that statue, right? You see it start to fall, and then it's on its side. And then another group comes up of humans, and they're searching for something, and they go to touch the red, and then here comes those Romans. Now, if you look at that statue, that gave you a timestamp. So they've been there for eternity, for as long as they have been there, right? And they were the ones guarding that. So it's almost like if you try to take the Azoth to power yourself for the greed or whatever, it takes you over, and it makes you fight in defense of the thing you took. That's what I took away from that video, and that stuck with me this whole time.
Would you say it corrupts you?
Yes.
Yes. Ah, see what I did there?
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do I think that led to the demise? Yes. I still go back to the tower. What's its name? The explosions frozen in time.
Shattered Obelisk?
Thank you, Shattered Obelisk. That to me is the biggest mystery there. I think that in a lot of ways holds the basis, like the basis of the key of what everything is about with them. Like
The rings of a tree, right?
Yeah. And going back to the Ancient Guardians that protect them, I think that they're protecting. I still think there's ancients somewhere in there, whether they're in like stasis of some kind, because you look at the obelisk and clearly there's some kind of stasis going on there, preservation there of some sort. I think that whether they're in some kind of parallel like time thing going on there, I don't know. But I feel like genuinely they are protecting them. Like somehow the ancients they're not completely wiped out, but I just don't understand why else the Ancient Guardians would be standing there protecting something that's nothing,
Right.
Yeah, I really believe that this is kind of my theory. My theory is that the Ancient Guardians are protecting those ancient sites of power from people who would come in with ill intent, because they know the power of Azoth when it's used for dastardly deeds. Somebody has ill intentions. I believe this. I'm going to kind of take this into another IP here, but you know how like a Sith in Star Wars, a Sith accessing the Force as opposed to a Jedi accessing the Force. A Jedi would access the Force and have control over it, over their emotions, right? Where a Sith, like, they're fueled by their emotions.
Yeah.
They let their emotions go. So you look at, and I remember the one particular point in one of the movies where Rey is super mad. She's a Jedi, right? She's on the light side. She's super angry.
Spoilers?
And spoilers. She unleashes this force lightning out of her freaking hand that blew my mind. And I was like, oh my God, like that's the dark side in her releasing the power that she has. So transitioning back to New World and the Azoth and the Ancients. I truly believe that the Ancients put the Ancient Guardians in place to protect those sites of power because they know what the Azoth and what that power is capable of in the wrong hands.
Could see that. I mean, they're eternally bound to that, as far as we know. You know, the experiments that the ancients ran on taking the humans that were there, around there, like that, at least that was discussed, you know, and basically turning their followers into eternal servants. You know, like that whole. This is where it gets kind of foggy for me because there's so many unknowns about things. That, like, I look forward to seeing how it all plays out, how the ending solidifies.
And what if Azoth is the fountain of youth, but it's not the eternity of living that you get to choose what you have, right? So yes, you come to this island for that eternal, but maybe the eternal you want is not what you're seeking. Now you are a victim of your own greed or wants, right? And now you do have eternity. You cannot perish, but you also cannot leave. And you have to defend the one thing that you wanted to take for yourself. What if that's a concept, right? Because they're all searching for that I feel like that's the thing, right? Like with Isabella, she was coming there to try to find something to be able to free her father and her brothers, right? She's looking for that fountain of youth or something that gives her the ability to be strong enough to do that, right? So maybe this is the eternity you get for looking for that, because it's not something you should have as a mortal.
Right.
So then you become a servant to it, and you don't control anything, it controls you. And my last thing is, why are the lost the only ones that are not civilized? Because the other three are. You cannot tell me the corruption and the earth people are not civilized, because they are. They communicate, they talk to you,
Yeah.
they use tactics that are different. They're not frailing. I want to know why the lost is different from the other three. Were they the worst?
Really good point.
Were they the most evil, the most demonics, and so they were taken to that level and made brainless? I don't know.
I wonder if it has something to do with the Tempest. The whole, you know, like it just, I don't want to get too much, but it just, you know, like, I wonder if there was choices about what they like. This is what they received. This is what they received. You know, like if you were to put A, B, and C each getting a different kind of, I don't know, like a result of something, or like some form of damnation. You know, like I don't know. But yeah, that's a really good point. Why are they different? That's cool.
We will definitely be dedicating an entire lore lesson to all these different baddies, including the Lost. So we're definitely going to dive into that at some point. But I think what's intriguing is that in the world, no matter what you kill, who you kill, they are all reclaimed by the island and the Azoth that's infused within the ground. You can watch it happen, and you can watch them come back and be resurrected.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they have tied that into the overall story, so it makes sense when something respawns. It makes sense how when you die, you can come back. You know what I mean? It makes sense how you can travel from point A to point B using the properties of the Azoth. And I think the key to the ancients is most definitely the Azoth. And next week, when we put our lore lesson out for next week, we're diving further into how the ancients were overtaken, who overtook them, because it's out there. It is out there in those lore pages. So I think it might surprise a lot of people to see what actually happened in that struggle between the ancients and their demise, the people who caused their demise. I don't necessarily think that the ancients are good or evil. I think they were driven by purpose.
Okay.
So.
Well, I look forward to seeing how it wraps up. I wanna leave this with a couple thoughts that I'm seeing in chat. Number one, Gone Crazy back soon. What if they're all the same regarding the lost, you know, the corrupted and all that? What if they're all the same, just different points in the process? Another one from Master Conniff, the lost, the ancients, the corrupted. Kind of like the Marauders, the Syndicate, the Covenant. History repeats itself. Just
The next batch.
saying. Yep.
The next batch.
Yep. And then there was. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, could that have something to do with the fact that as your main story, which we're not really we won't spoil much if you haven't gone through too much of it, but the fact that the Soul Wardens are being rebuilt, basically, and there is an underlying need to bring the factions together.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll find out more future episodes, gentlemen.
Yes.
That was
good.
fun.
It was a fun discussion. I like that.
It really makes you, I mean, it really picks your brain. It really makes you think.
Yeah.
I want to keep talking. I'm not gonna lie. After what you just said, I have an idea. We need to talk after this. Just saying.
We will do that. Let's bring that into part 2. Absolutely.
Seekers of lore. This is what we're about. We dig this stuff.
That's cool. Well, friends, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Loreseekers for New World. And, if you enjoyed it, let us know how we're doing. We want to hear from you. We want to hear feedback from you, whether it's through an email, through a voicemail, through a review. For every 5-star written review on iTunes, we give you some love by reading your review right here on the show. We got a couple here. Amanda Gray, 825 from the USA, says, really scratches the New World itch when I'm away from game. The podcast, as always, is excellent. Amanda, thank you so much. It's awesome. King of Keys says, didn't start listening till about a week and a half in game when I really started getting immersed and wanted to immerse more outside of the game. This podcast makes me look forward to playing every day when I get off, and this podcast really helps make nights go by at work. Truly amazing podcast. Went back and started listening to more from the beginning, but love this podcast. Hey, thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Both from the USA. Anyway, champ.
Hey, you can call us at 765-382-6961. Please keep your message to 1 minute or less. You can email us at loreseekerscast@gmail.com. You can find our podcast, written lore lessons, and articles at loreseekercast.com.
Friends, follow us on social media. We have a lot of fun over on the Twitters. Jibs is at JibsIRL. Champ is at Champ2504. You can follow our long-lost brother Sullis at Sullis on Twitter. You can follow myself at Loreseeker Cash. The Cash is with a K, but don't forget to follow us on both Twitter and Instagram at LoreseekersCast. Also, don't forget, friends, follow Sullis's show. It's absolutely fantastic. He presents in his show called To Eternum, Loreseekers To Eternum. He presents the company's storyline in an RP setting. He also talks running a community and community management in New World and gaming abroad. Don't forget also our cozy little home here on Twitch. Follow us here at twitch.tv/LoreseekersCast and throw us a sub if you want to stick around. Love you a lot. Love you lots. Love you lots. Okay. What happened right there?
I don't know. You better stroke that for a minute.
Well, I love you all.
Oh, friends. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. And have a great week in New World and life. We'll see you next week.